Hello and welcome to my channel. You know, I've got everything I need here to put together a pretty cool looking Namor. I've got this beautiful head sculpt by World's Greatest Superheroes. Look at that, it's just gorgeous. I've got my S-type body. I've got some accessories from classic TV toys. I actually have some really neat items here from Laser Mego. Let me put that head down. I've got this beautiful trident. And when I was talking to Paul over there at Laser Mego, and he told me that he made these winged ankle wings for his Namor a while back, and so he sent these to me as well. So I've got some really cool accessories. There's really no reason for me not to do this Namor, with the exception of one thing. I have these shorts, and they're just so plain. You know, I didn't know what to do with them, so he's just been sitting in my drawer for a while. But this week I was on Facebook, and a fellow customizer was looking for some help finding an emblem for an angel figure that he was doing. He needed a little halo. So I reached out to him and I told him, I said, you know, look, if you can't find what you're looking for, let me know. I can print up a halo on my Cricut and send you out an iron-on so that you can take care of your figure. And his response was somewhat surprising. He had told me that, hey, I've got a Cricut. The only thing is, I don't know how to use it to create emblems. So I thought this would be a great opportunity to grab my Submariner and do something. It kind of sparked, I guess, an idea in my head. Do something that would jazz up these shorts. And what I came up with was using my Cricut machine to create a scale pattern on these to kind of like, I guess, tie them in with the aesthetic of the Submariner. So if you have a Cricut machine, have access to one, maybe someone in your life has a Cricut machine, and you do customizing, and you'd like to learn how to create emblems or other accents for your action figures, this might be the video for you. Not only are we going to put together a really cool looking, in my opinion, I think, a really cool looking Submariner. Look at that beautiful skull. But we're also going to learn how to use a Cricut machine to create accents for different fabric pieces. So I hope you stay tuned. It should be interesting. I think the final figure is going to look pretty good. So I hope you stay tuned. I found this image online, and I think it's going to work out really well for what I'm planning. But I just need to clean it up a little bit. So I'm going to take my eraser, and I'm just going to get rid of some of the stray marks here, because I want it to look a little uniformed. And I'm going to, let me go down to about here, create a shape that's going to be consistent with the I guess tights, no, the shorts that you're going to be using. So I'm making it sort of like a V shape. And cleaning up is going to be tedious. But I think you can see where I'm going with this. That's going to be the applique that I'm going to use. Just got to clean this up. I wish I could make this bigger. I don't think it makes the eraser bigger. And so I'm just gonna tidy this up, and I'm going to save it, and then I'm going to go into the next step. So let me get this tidied up and kind of like cleaned up, especially these little rough edges along the side, and I'll come right back. So I've cleaned up my scales, you can see. I've kind of like removed some of them just to give it a, like, I guess, a comic book appearance. So I've removed some of the edges here, just to kind of give it more of an open, like a drawn feeling. And I'm going to go ahead and save it. I'm going to save it as scales. And I'm going to use a program that I've used before. I'm not recommending or anything. It's just I went to a search on how to remove a background, and I found this program. What scares me, though, is that I have to upload the image, and it accesses my computer. I don't know if that's a good thing, but I don't do any like banking on here or anything like that. So I don't know, there's really nothing for them to grab off of this. But there's my image, right? And the background's been removed, so I'm going to go ahead and download it. And I'm going to open file. And you can see it's just like kind of outlined. And that outline is what I'm going to be using for my Cricut machine. So I'm going to bring down the size of this a little bit. I just want the scales. I don't want the entire border. So let me go ahead and just get the part that I need. And I'm going to save that. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and take it to my Cricut machine next. So I have my material loaded. This is an iron-on, and you always put the flat side up, not the shiny side. You want the flat side up. And then I have it loaded here on my program. I simply click continue, and it's connecting to my Joy via Bluetooth. And it'll prompt me what I need to do next. And there it is connecting. And I want to do a smart iron-on, so I click there. And it says to load, so let me go ahead and get this loaded. Okay, let's see, click OK. And it usually doesn't take long at all. Oh, I had a little progress monitor right there. Okay. Unload. And it doesn't look like much there, but let me get it off and cleaned up. And we'll take a look at it. It looks like it's a little off center too, but I'm not missing anything. I just need to remember that when I cut it. So let me get this cleaned up. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and open my Cricut. And I'm going to click on New Project. And then Upload. And it's my background. There it is. Remove background scales. Open. Okay, continue. Continue. And I'm just doing a single layer, so I'm going to click on that one. And then upload it. And I'm going to reduce the size a little bit. I want it in one of these squares. I think that's got it. So I simply come over here and I click Make. Well, let me save the project. I'm going to call it Scales. And I'm going to save it to my action figures. All right. Now, this is going to be the way it's printed in my Cricut machine. So let me get my Cricut machine before I continue. At this point, I'm going to trim the excess material away from the decal. And these little pincers came with my Cricut. I just saw a Cricut online at Walmart on their website, and it was 89 bucks, and it came with everything. It was used, or I guess refurbished, but that's a pretty good price, especially with all the accessories that came with it. That's problematic. Scale. Let me see if I can just grab it. And I kid you not, this is going to be a project. Just to get all these scales done. I'm not going to bore you with all of them, but I just did want to show you the process a little bit. Some will come off easier than others. There we go. I don't know if you can see it, but those scales are coming along pretty nicely. Let me get this one down here. You know, this might not be the first one that you should start with. I mean, this has got a lot of detail to it, but this is basically the process. And then what you'll be left with is an outline. You can kind of see it taking shape right now. I think I'm going to do the rest of this off camera because it's not very exciting and it's pretty tedious. Oh, here's one that's problematic. If you remember, there were some that I removed some of the border from, and those might give you a little bit of an issue. Let's see if I can grab this guy. Got him. All right, I think I'm gonna do the rest of these off camera, just so I don't bore you to death. And if you lose some of these scales, remember, we're kind of going for that effect anyway. You know, we don't want the complete scales. We just want a good representation of what they should look like based on the outline. Yeah, it looks like that's coming along nicely. I don't know if you can see it, but I'm just getting a nice little kind of like border, like it's very subdued. That's gonna look good. I have my shorts around there somewhere. See what I mean? I gotta get those black things off. So let me go ahead and keep working on these, and I'll come back to these. I'm gonna finish this, and I'm gonna start painting my head. You know, this looks like it's gonna be a pretty easy paint job. Let me go ahead and get the flesh down first. I'm gonna use this layered Kislev flesh. It seems to be a good match to the body, to the S-type body. So I'm going to use this, and I'm thinking about a wash too. So let me just go ahead and get this down. If you get into the hair, it's no big deal at this point because, you know, we're going to go back and we're going to paint it black. Just make sure that you get into all the nooks and crannies on this guy, and especially around the eyes. Get behind the ears. I think that's probably something I need to pay attention to. and I might need 2 coats on this. We'll see. That J. Jonah Jameson, I used the same technique on him, and he came out really well. I mean, he was a pretty easy one to do, honestly. Okay, it looks like I have pretty good coverage there. Let me make sure to get around the neck. Yeah, behind the ears, this is important. Almost missed a spot. Okay, let's see. I'm going to tackle the hair now. I'm going to use an Abaddon black for the hair, because what I want is I want to put down the black layer, and then I'm going to put a gloss on there so I get a sheen, similar to what you see in the comic version of him. I bought, I guess it's not really water that the Citadel paints use to thin them out. It's a special mixture. And I got some and I put it in some of my paints, and they seem a little watery now. So I'm not going to go over that process because I might have done it incorrectly. But as I've said before, I live here in the desert, so things get dried out pretty easily. And so I went down to my local, I actually have a Warhammer shop that opened up down the street, which is really convenient. And I picked up that thinner there. I'm going to use another brush to tighten up those areas right there. Just going to get the broad colors down at this point, and then I'll come back and finish that up. So I'm going to let these two paints dry, the black and the flesh tone, and I'll be back. You know, since I'm going to have to probably use 2 coats, I thought it might be a good idea just to kind of finish off the hair, so I can go back and touch it up as needed and add that second coat. So I've got my thinner brush going right now, and I'm using that to paint the borders of the hairline. And there's a little reverse widow's peak back here. You know, these world's greatest sculpts are really neat. I mean, there's just a lot of detail and they're so clean. So they're very easy to paint, in my opinion. This is my second one in 2 weeks. Okay, around the ears where I'm going to have to pay attention. Yeah, you don't want to go over into the face too much because, you know, it's going to be hard to cover that black paint. So try your best to make sure that you get this nice and tight and stay in the lines. Looks like we got a little bit carried away over here. Hopefully I can fix that. Okay, and now I have my true widow's peak here. I think this is going to be the hardest part of the model. The eyes are pretty small, so I don't think it's going to be too much to get those painted, honestly. And the eyebrows are pretty well established, so that's not going to be difficult too. I think maybe just this hairline will be the hardest part for me. You can see I've already made a couple of mistakes. Maybe a smaller brush would be better. I'm almost done though. I will use that smaller brush when I do my touch-up though. Okay, now I think I'll let them dry and I'll come back and I'll do the second coats. I'm gonna go ahead and remove the foot. And I've mixed some epoxy down here. I think if I sand the ankles, and if I sand the little wings, I can get them to stick a little bit better. So let's see. Drop. I'm trying to keep them uniform, so I'll probably put it next to that other foot that I've got there, just to see how I'm doing. Alright, I think I got the wings done. I'm going to go ahead and let those dry. And I'm going to start working on the head. Since I've got my black paint out, I'm going to go ahead and paint the eyes. And I'm just going to put black inside of the eye, pushing up towards the upper part of the lid. Because what I want to do is I want to establish a black border in there. And I'm trying to push in towards the nose part of the eye and bring it all the way out. So that's what I got there. Come back and I'll add the whites and the pupil and the iris. So let me let that dry. You can see I did the second coat on the hair and on the face while I was at it. What I'm doing now is I'm doing my touch-up. I've got my Kislev Flesh paint and the areas that I kind of like went into the face with my black paint. I'm just trying to get covered. And the hard part is just making sure that you can get it covered, because being a darker color, sometimes it's difficult to do. You know, covering a darker color with a lighter color. So I might have to do this a couple of times just to make sure I get those crisp lines that I'm looking for between the scalp and the hairline. Okay, now that that's done, let me go ahead and try to take care of the eyes. I'm gonna grab my white. In this case, I'm using a antique parchment, which is like an off-white. And these eyes are really, really squinty. So, here, let me get a, this is my smallest brush. I think it is. So I'm gonna get my small brush and I'm just gonna push in the paint, starting from the lower lid, moving up. See, my goal is to keep that black line up there. And if I push it down into the lid, it's not a big deal because I can always go back and I can paint the lids. And I'd planned to paint the lids anyway. I'm gonna use a darker color, probably the same color I use for my lips. And I'm gonna paint those in just a second. Okay, so that's kind of the effect I'm going for. And I was thinking about painting green eyes, but I don't think it's gonna, well, I'll try it. I don't think it's gonna matter all too much. So now that I got those eyes set, let me do the lips. For the lips, I use something called Acadian Flesh Tone, which is a little bit darker. And I'm probably gonna use that to paint the bottom lid as well. So you just get this paint and you push between the lips. And it kind of does the work for you. Look at that. And then I'm going to take the same color and on the lid up here, I'm going to cover that white that I got there. And this is going to give you a natural shading as well. Looks like I might have gotten a little too deep into the cheek, but that's okay. I'll go back and touch that up. So that's what that looks like so far. And now I'm going to try the green on the eyes. I'm using this Death Guard green. And I'm just going to put a little drop in there. And then I'm going to have a big black iris. So I don't know if this is really going to show all that much, but it may. So, you know, it might be a little extra touch that just kind of pushes this guy over the top. I'm realizing that I shouldn't have painted my my bottom lid yet. I may have to go back and touch up. See what I mean? Okay, now that I have the green in there, let me get the black again. And I'm just going to do a pinprick of black. I think that did it. Maybe I can fix that real quick. Oh, I'm making a mess. You know, this eye looks really, really good. And this one I messed up on. Let me go ahead and put that white back in on the corner. Thankfully, I didn't mess it up too badly. Okay, so I gotta let it dry now. I'll be back. I just wanted to take a moment to show you the Laser Mego store. You know, they have some really interesting items. Many of these I've used in past builds, like the sword and the shield. I put together a Flashpoint Wonder Woman, and this really kind of tied it together. I think I got the tiara here too. Let's see if I can find that one. But this is where I got my trident, and you can have them printed in a variety of colors. I actually got this trident in gold, and it looks pretty cool. Oh, here we go. Here's Paul's version of the Submariner. You know, I think I got the idea for the trident from this particular figure, and then I'd asked him about these wings on the feet, and they're not listed on his website, but if you contact him, he told me that I could mention him as a source for those. So, let's see, what else is here? I had tiara that I got here. Let me see, hats. Let me see if it's here. Very interesting stuff, you know. Oh, there's the star crown that I got for my my Flashpoint Wonder Woman. It was Mara's crown that she stole after she cut off her head. I also purchased this stuff right here, this bag for my bombastic bag man. So there's some really interesting stuff here. Oh, I like this Panther necklace. I might get one for my Black Panther. But there's some really cool stuff here. So, you know, I would check out his site. Definitely, if you're putting together a Namor, you're going to have to use the where is it? Weapons. Here we go. You're going to have to use his trident because this thing is just it's incredible. You know, it's just a great looking piece. Oh yeah. I showed this off, I think it was last week or the week before. I'm going to use this I'm going to adapt it for a hand for my Sandman. So there's some really cool stuff here. So if you get a chance, take a look at his website. If you do any customizing, there's some really neat options here. You know, here's some Star Trek stuff. So anyway, I'm going to get back to working on my Namor. Okay, I managed to fix that eye. Now I'm just coming back and I'm taking care of the cheeks. Because I went a little too deep with this darker colored paint, and so I'm just kind of blending it in with the flesh tone that I have. So I got the eyes. So now let me try to get that eyebrow. And again, I'm using my thinnest brush. And I'm just going to trace over what the sculpt has here. And you know, like I said before, you know, if you push into the face, you can always go back and clean it up. Oh, like I just did right there. I guess if you put it out there, it could happen, right? Boy, that looks like a mess. I am so gonna have to go back and fix that. All right, I'm gonna do the next eyebrow, and it's gonna be perfect. I'm not gonna make any mistakes on it. It's in one fell swoop. I'm just gonna get it done. Nope, that didn't work. I was channeling my inner Norman Vincent Peale. My positive thinking, but didn't work. Yeah, I'll go back and I'll touch it up. I'll do that on camera so you can see that mistakes like that can be fixed. I did the eye off camera just because I had to get close to see it. Oh, and it looks like I missed a little bit of that covered up that upper lid. There, got that. So let me let that dry, and I'm going to come back and get the get that flesh in there, push it up in there, because you can see where I've gone into the eye. I mean into the face there. And then what's this little fuzzy thing right here? Something in the skull. All right, so that's what I got so far. I'm gonna fix the eyes. I'm gonna add the wash on the hair, and I think this guy might be done. Oh, I have to do a dry brush. So still some things to do, but I gotta let them dry. Okay, so I got my base flesh tone, the Kislev flesh, and I'm just going to push into the eyebrow, kind of clean up the mess I made. Oops. I'm gonna have to repaint that one. This one isn't too bad. Maybe there is something to be said for the power of positive thinking. You know, those eyebrows were nerve-wracking. I think I got them though. I do have to fix this one over here. See, I went, I covered the eyebrow a little bit. So I may have to go back to that one. This looks pretty good. I might as well do my, I guess, third coat of paint while I'm at it, so that everything looks a little bit more uniformed. Oh, I missed a spot there. I'm glad I did this. See that hairline? Okay, it's looking pretty good. Almost done. I just have to do my washes, and I think I will be done. Okay, gonna let them dry. Now I'm gonna do a light dry brush of this layered Flayed One flesh. It's a very light flesh color. And I'm gonna take off a lot of the paint because I just want it to be kind of like a highlight color. And to do that, I'm just going to hit the areas that would be naturally highlighted, like the cheekbones, the chin, the forehead, you can see what that's doing. It's really kind of bringing out those features. And you know, with a dry brush, it needs to just have very little paint on it. And let's go over that again. Just like dip your paintbrush in there, get rid of as much paint as you can on the paper towel, and then use the tip of the brush to highlight where you want those that lighter color. You can see it's really doing a good job at giving you that highlighted effect. Okay, now I think it's time for the washes. And let's see, what washes am I going to use? I'm going to start with the Nullen's Gloss. I got this Nullen's Oil, and that's going to be the hair color, because I want the hair to be kind of shiny. And that paint that I'm using, that Abaddon Black, has a pretty good sheen to it too, but this should add a little bit more gloss to it. And it being a wash, if you do make a mistake and you get into an area that you don't want it to be in, you can really clean it up easily. As long as you don't let it dry. If it dries, then you're in trouble. Okay, so I've got my sheen going on. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do areas of the flesh that I think should be shaded. And where's my wash? I lost it. Be right back. Okay, I've got this contrast that I'm going to be using for shade. And I'm not going to place it everywhere. And I'm going to water it down quite a bit. Dip my brush in water. I'm only going to put it underneath his... on his chin right there, underneath his lips. And I'll probably drag it underneath his eyes and above his eyes. Try to get in that little spot there. Just to kind of darken those a bit. And I'll probably put it in his ears. Right there. That looks pretty cool. Maybe his jawline. Oops, bumped the camera. I got a little too much there. You can see how dark the color is naturally. All right, I think he's done. All I've got to do at this point is spray him with my matte clear coat and throw him on the body. So let me get him done and dressed up and we'll take a look at him. The Submariner. You know, I can't believe his shorts were the only thing that were holding me back. Because this guy looks fabulous. That head sculpt by World's Greatest Superheroes is just perfect. Look at that. And you can see the sheen that I got from that wash that I used. It gives it that like wet appearance. Everything just kind of came together on this guy, and he wasn't really hard to do. Boy, I just can't believe how well he turned out. You know, the accessories that I got from Laser Mego, just kind of like bring this guy together. Those wings on his feet. Look at that. Wow. Just really, really happy with him and the way he turned out. That modeled pattern that I used for my Cricut came out well too. You know, if you remember from the comics, he had the scales throughout, but you know what? That's kind of like beyond the scope of my machine, so I just wanted to give it the kind of impression that the scales were there, and I think I did that. I think I did that pretty well. One thing I would probably, well, you know, I don't know if I could change it because I think that's the only color those shorts come in. I don't think they come in a darker green, but you know, maybe dye it first and then put on the Cricut applique or the iron-on. I think that might work. But all in all, pretty happy with them. I even like my base. That's that base that I printed out. I just got it painted up, you know. I want to display them, so I wanted to put something, you know, out there that would really kind of bring them out. I think that does. Well, you know what? If you want to try your own Namor, it's not that difficult. The paint job wasn't that tough. Getting all the accessories together may be the only chore. You know, there's one last piece that I want to add to this guy. I think I'm going to print out a little shell there and add it to his belt, but that's about it. I think he's pretty much done. So if you wanted to do your own Submariner, I say don't wait. don't wait as long as I did, because he is really a cool figure. I'm going to go ahead and take him, and I'm going to get him together with some of my other Marvel heroes and get some pictures taken. So that's it for me today. I hope you enjoyed this episode. I hope that if you have a Cricut or access to a Cricut, that you get it out and try it, because you know what, this was a difficult design to do, but the other ones that I've done for my other superheroes, not so much. Pretty easy. Well, until next time, you guys stay safe, be cool, and Submariner and I say see ya.